What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Colin's FTR Adventures. It is a almost beautiful day, still a little bit cold, but the sun's out, so I'll take it. And it's been an abnormal amount of time since I posted my last video, but also since I had my bike. Not only has it been the winter, but I had a very odd amount of problems with my bike, so it's pretty much lived in the shop for the past 2.5 months. On Christmas Eve, no less, I had my junction hose pop and my entire leg got covered in coolant. Brought it into the shop where they figured out that I had a fork seal problem. They fixed that, fixed the junction hose, took it out for a ride, and then had 2 more leaks regarding coolant as well. So I've had 4 back-to-back problems with this bike. Now, I don't think that's indicative of the FTR line as a whole. I think I just got a lemon, so to speak, but they got it all patched up and I've ridden it for about 200 miles and it seems to be doing just fine. So I'm going to take it out today for a longer ride, couple 100 miles, and really stretch it out and just enjoy the day. Like everybody else, I've been itching to ride and I've just been watching videos to kind of fill that void. But today's the day. When I get out there, again, I'm going up to Bear Mountain. Lack of diversity in my trips, but beautiful day, so I want to enjoy it. I also got a chin mount, finally, a proper mount for my GoPro camera, so I should have some pretty okay footage compared to what I was posting before. Thank you for sticking with me, and for those of you who commented and messaged about my last video, truly appreciate it. Stay tuned to see more adventures. Let's go. of Bear Mountain. It is an absolutely stunning day. I thought it was going to be a little cold. It is windy, but it's not cold, surprisingly. I truly, finally got to open this bike up to its full capacity. I rarely have gotten the opportunity to do that because once I bought the bike, it became winter and then had all these problems with it. And this is the first day I've gotten to really stretch out each gear. You have all that low down kind of animalistic torque. And you keep going, and once you hit the upper end of that power band around 7,000 RPM, the bike keeps singing and it just picks up. It just gets better. There's no part of this bike that is boring or dull. I am about to find some curvy roads, hopefully, and try tipping it over, leaning it over, and see how this thing corners at speed. So I only have about 35 minutes left to my GoPro, so hopefully I find something sooner than later. But I will say, I'm not going to do a full review. But this bike, I can't see, I don't know what I would go to after this. Maybe I set the bar a little too high and I should have done something else. But I can't see going to a cruiser or to a sport bike. This, to me, is kind of just the best of both worlds. So again, the Indian FTR S model, 2022, 1200cc V-twin. It is said to be kind of a hybrid of cruiser and a sport bike. So it is upright seating position, but that low down torque, that power that you look for in a cruiser, crossed with the upper end RPM power that you get from a sport bike, an inline four. And it rides just like that. Yeah, so if you are considering getting this bike, it depends what you want. I think for someone like me who rides in the city and also wants to take trips like this, it's an absolute perfect bike. It's a bit of overkill for the city because it's a lot of power, and most of the time I'm finding myself trying to stop myself from going fast and having to do a lot of clutch management and staying in around second and third gear. So if you primarily do city riding, maybe I suggest something else. But when you're on the highway, if you're doing highway riding, it's great. If you like going fast, it's great. And in about 25 minutes, I'll be able to tell you if it's great for cornering and taking those backcountry roads. My feeling is yes. so I just touched down in Queens and I had a fantastic ride today. Gorgeous weather. It was not as cold as I thought it was going to be, so I was dressed perfectly and the whole time I was comfortable. There's two things that I was reminded of today, the two negatives of the bike, which when you compare the negatives to the positives, which are that this bike is incredibly fun to ride, super zippy, good on the highway, good in the city as well. You know, the pros far outweigh the cons. However, they still do exist. One is the gas mileage. I mentioned this in the last video. I primarily ride in the city, so it's start and stop, start and stop. And riding like that, I get, you know, 75 to 80 miles to the gallon if I'm just doing city riding. Now, on the longer ride like I did today, I got about 100, a little more than 100 for almost a full tank. So I'd assume 115, you know, for the full tank until I was empty, but I never let it get that far. And the other thing is the cold starts. A lot of people complained about the cold start and the bike being kind of choppy at the beginning. And I gotta say, guys, it's a sport bike, it's a performance bike, so you're gonna have to let it warm up. It might not be as smooth to take off as, you know, different, more straightforward bike. However, you're not buying a straightforward bike. So to me, it's kind of expected. But yes, if you don't let it warm up, it is very choppy when you start the first couple releases of the clutch. But just let it warm up to, I let mine warm up to about 160. And then it's smooth takeoff. So, you know, it's like a half negative. You just have to wait a few minutes to take off. But other than that, the bike is just as fun and awesome as I remember it. I hope you guys enjoy the footage. I got a fair bit of it, but I don't have too much battery for my GoPro, so that's the next step. Thanks for tuning in, and I will shoot the video soon when it gets much warmer and the sun comes out for longer. We have longer days. If you have any suggestions for places I should ride to, please let me know. Drop them in the comments or send me a message. Or if you have any questions about the bike that you would like me to address, drop them down there as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.